1 in 2 women and 1 in 3 men will get cancer in their lifetimes. So the effects of cancer unfortunately has an effect on a lot of people's lives. Believe me, I know. Dave Reade has been working at Delta for 33 years and is currently having a battle with the disease.
A lump on my neck, and it turned out to be a blessing because that's the only reason why I went in, because I wasn't feeling sick. Probably towards the end of January that I had developed a cancer called squamous cell carcinoma, which is a head and neck type of cancer. And it had spread, unfortunately. At first I didn't accept it. I it was one of the few times I've ever yelled at a doctor, but I told him he was wrong.
It was very difficult to hear. Mr. Reade's always been a very health conscious person. He works out all the time. He always talks about eating his blueberries for his antioxidants and stuff like that. So it was just hard to hear.
I was in a good spot. I enjoyed coming. I felt great. So you know, I was like everybody else. But then after I found out, you know, as I said earlier, life changed in a big, big way. The support from that was just amazing. Our staff here, I can't thank them enough. I can't thank the freshmen this year for their support. As freshmen, were amazing. In fact, I still have a sign that's out here where they said, "No one fights alone," and they all signed it. The support, it was uplifting. I mean, there is nothing better than what they are doing between us and Yorktown, coming together for that.
The tennis team has a large event every spring in order to support people affected by cancer. You may not think much of it if you have never been involved, but to Mr. Reade in May of last year, it meant everything.
Smash Cancer was our most successful one ever, and I think part of it was Mr. Reade and the great amount of love and support that people in our school district have for him, so it really helped drive the event. Red for Reade was just a catchy little slogan we came up with because Mr. Reade's specific cancer, the color for that was red, and in Smash Cancer, you know, each cancer has a certain color. So because there was similarity between the word red and Reade, we started this Red for Reade campaign over at the middle school, and lots of kids and teachers wore red to support him.
On the day of Smash Cancer, I walked into the cafeteria and the amount of red shirts that people were wearing was just overwhelming. The support from the kids. Several had dyed their hair red, and there is no way I can repay that kind of gratitude. It meant the world to me, and it uplifted me more than a lot of things. It was just very heartfelt.
Something that's awesome about Mr. Reade is that, you know, we give the proceeds to Smash Cancer to many different beneficiaries, and so we cut a check for, I think it was $1,500, maybe $2,000 to Mr. Reade, and he did not accept it. You know, personally, he asked immediately that it be donated to the Cancer Center in the name of Yorktown and Delta Tennis, and his name in support of that. So that's just a great example of his generosity and love for his community.
After the Smash Cancer, we got to talking, and he was just really ready to kick its butt, as he would say. So he was ready to get after it, and very motivated and positive, and he was deeply moved with all of the support that he felt from the students and the staff.
I had my PET scan last week, and it's good news. And I was walking on air last Wednesday when they told me that the spots on my lungs is pretty much inactive. The only spot that showed a little bit of it in its very little activity was in the bronchial lymph node. So the doctor said that, you know, immunotherapy, which I'll be doing every 3 weeks for the foreseeable future, he said maybe a year or two.
Friends and family can be a huge help in the worst of times, and that is no different for Mr. Reade.
From Mr. Marshall and Mrs. Mick and the staff here have just been amazing with their support, and the student body has just been amazing with their support. Them, a lot of kids coming up and telling me some of their stories with cancer, whether it be them themselves, whether it be their folks, whether it be their grandparents, siblings, whatever. And how they overcame some of those things. Those stories I absolutely love because it was encouraging to me to hear those types of stories. So first I gotta thank my wife. She has been just amazing. I'm not so sure it hasn't been harder on her than it has been on me. Mr. Kemp there at the high school, he was like a brother. Coach Keller, he took me a lot to some of the cancer treatments so that my wife could work. I gotta thank the high school choir too. Last spring, shortly a couple weeks after Smash Cancer, they dedicated a song at their spring concert to me, which meant the world to me. Those are things that I will never, ever, ever forget, and there's no way I can repay these people for their support. It's part of the reason why I got through it. Another big reason, obviously, is Jesus. He, in his healing hands, and then all the prayer warriors that sent messages to me at home when I was going through cancer, the chemo, those picked me up as well. So all those things just meant the world to me, and there's no way I can repay that. I'm just so grateful for those. Don't be afraid to ask for help. That was the one thing that I when we first started, I didn't want to ask anybody for help because I thought I could do it myself. I can't. You can't. You can't get through this alone. And people are going to help you out immensely. And that's what the students here did for me. That's what the staff did. That's what Mr. Marshall and Mrs. Mick did. That's what Mr. Kemp and Coach Keller did. And all my friends and family. This isn't I didn't do this alone. Not by any sense of the word.